everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Whitney, and today I am back at it again with another juicy story time. I guess you can call it a juicy story time. I guess so. It's pretty quick, not really that long. I was thinking about it, earlier today, like my whole life, the past stuff that I've been through, what I've learned with my different transitions, and I was like, this was one interesting, welcome wagon when I first moved down to the South. So like I mentioned before, if you guys didn't know, I'm from New York, but I moved to the South when I was like earlier, I think I was 13 years old, 13 years old, something like that. But I came down here basically for high school. It was a hell of a transition. Let me tell you, there's certain things that I'm still not accustomed to, or there's just certain things that are different that I'm like, yeah, that's just the South, man. Like, you just got to get over it. It's just how people are. So this story is like I said, it's not going to take a while. It was just something that me from the suburbs did not really fully comprehend, right? Like, it was different. It definitely was an introduction. If you guys are interested to see what I have to talk about today, as you see in the title, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up if you want to see more videos like this. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on your post notifications so you never miss when I post a new video. Listen, let me tell you, I have a segment here on my channel called A Writer's Scope, where you send to me whatever problems that you're going through, whatever things that you need advice on. You send it to my email and I automatically keep everyone anonymous. The point is so that way I can give you my best advice possible. I want to be able to give you guys a third party's perspective on whatever it is that you're going through, so that way whatever it is that you are going through, I can help you through it. The point of my channel is to be able to help everyone and anyone in any way that I can, even if it is just one person. So while we got through all of that, let's get right on into this video. So back in the day, right, like I was a teenager coming down from New York all the way down to Alabama. Now when we transitioned from New York to Alabama, I'm originally from the suburbs. I'm not gonna get that detailed, but I'm from the suburbs. When we moved to Alabama, we moved to a rural area, right? So you're taking a girl who had like access, transportation, neighbors, corner stores, like a lot of things there, and her family, and you're just dropping her in the middle of nowhere, right? So like, first off, that was a culture shock because the houses were a lot smaller than what I was used to. I didn't really hear about people living in trailers, and like there was like a negative connotation that went with people who lived in trailers. Like, you were automatically poor, you were like a drug addict. Like, I really was like, you talking about we come in to move down here and we're living in a trailer? Like, it took me a minute to transition, like, oh, this is just a cheaper way for people to live, like, and it still looks nice on the inside. It's really not that big a deal if you live in a trailer. So there was a lot of different things that I learned. Like, for example, your mama and them, like mama, I don't even think it's spelled correct. I think it's N''EM. That means everyone in your family. So like there's different lingo here or there. Like dadgum, like that, for a minute I had no idea what anyone was talking about. I was like, what are you talking about, dadgum? Like, what the heck is dadgum? You got the gum in your, like, I dead was like, what are you talking about? But with this different lingo and with everything going on, I ended up coming to a school that was, of course, I had to get my education, and I went to this school, got introduced to the classmates. I sat down by myself. A couple classmates came to say hi to me. I don't remember which particular classmates came down to me. I think I remember like 2 of them that did out of like the 3 that did. But other than that, like, I was slowly not really getting acclimated to the Southern lifestyle. I didn't really get fully acclimated to that whole like atmosphere until maybe sophomore year of high school, maybe junior year, if I'm being real honest, because for a minute, like, I really thought I was going to a high school where it was large and I wouldn't have to deal with some of the people that I met. Lo and behold, rural means small, and everybody knows everyone. Like, once you move there, they all of a sudden know everything it is about you because everyone is so close knit. And there's great things about that, but there's also negative things about that. Like, I don't like people being in my business, and all of a sudden everyone was in our business. And I'm like, this doesn't make no type of sense. Like, where's the people? And so for a while I thought that the rural environment that I was living in was all of the South. So like, you're talking like teenager getting taken from all her friends to here, and I'm just like, I hate the South. So I didn't really talk to anybody. I was hoping that like I could meet people who were not of them, even though I was going to a full high school that was full of people who were like of the rural environment. And I'm not saying like these people or all of them were the ones that I'm talking about. Like there was a group of people specifically that are imperative to the story that I wanted to get away from. And even though I could have made friends with the other people, I assumed the other people were like them, right? Because I was new to the place, and that one group made it bad for all of them. So I just didn't talk to anybody. Like I talked to some people every now and then. I, you know, was just basically stuck to myself. But there was this one girl who just so happened to like latch on to me. And I swear to you, I always have this problem, right? Like within school, like no matter what, elementary, middle, high school, no matter what, I always attracted the bad kids. Like not even like the bad guys or anything like that, but the bad females who always had drama, who were like opening it up to everybody, like being ridiculous, you feel me? So like I always felt like the reason why I attracted those type of people is because like I was easy to talk to. So whenever they were going through something, they would hit me up and be like, yo, and then just go off on what it is that they were talking about. And I would be like, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? They were always messy because even when I gave advice, I would be caught in something. So this is a scenario where I was friends with two people. Technically three. We're friends with one girl who's not really important to the story. We have another girl whose name is Melanie, and we have another girl whose name is Bambi. So Melanie and Bambi did not like each other off jump, right? And Melanie, let's describe them first. Melanie was a character who was very dramatic. She was very developed for her age, for someone who was like just coming into high school. She was very boy crazy, right? Like she knew that she had some sort of looks, like she had some things going for her. She knew that she could utilize her assets to get what she wanted, and she did that a lot, right? Bambi saw right through that. So I was friends with Melanie. Melanie was the girl who latched on to me, and at first I thought that she was just, you know, easy to talk to, but I picked up on her mess like quick. So she was one of the people that I was trying to get rid of, that I thought that like once I go to high school I'll never see her again, but that wasn't true. And Bambi, I also thought the same thing, because Bambi was a cooler person. Like she was easier to get along with, but she was sneaky. And so Bambi, I was like, you know what, I don't trust her, so I'm just gonna, you know, be nice to them, but they're not cool like that. Like they're not cool with me like that. Like Bambi and I never spoke on the phone or anything like that. And later on I learned that Bambi never liked me. She was just fake to my face, right? But like at the time, in the moment of all of this, I thought that she liked me, but I didn't like her, right? So basically we were both being semi-fake, but I was still cordial. Does that make sense? Like I never went out my way to be her friend. We were cordial. So this happened on some particular day, right? Melanie would call me every single night on the phone, and Melanie would tell me about the different things that her and Bambi would get into it with. Melanie would tell me about the boys that she's talking to, the boys that she wants, the boys yada yada yada. And for a minute, Bambi rode my bus. So like whenever I got off from school, she would come on the bus with me, and I'm like, oh dear Christ, like I really gotta live with this child all day, because I had every single class with her, and then I had to ride the bus with her, and she literally lived down the street from me too. And then she would call me. I'm like, my God, like can't you leave a girl alone? But that doesn't end there. So there was a few tension going on in school, right? And talk was that Bambi and Melanie were just not getting along at all. So Bambi was hilarious. She would do certain things to Melanie that literally cracked me up, right? So Bambi would do this thing where she would rip off pieces of the loose leaf paper. You know when you rip off paper from your notebook and it leaves those white things, right? She would rip those up and put it in Melanie's hair. And I didn't say anything, right? Like I was just kind of like, let me let her finish, and then when she's done being petty, I'm gonna let her know, right? So there was a few times, this happened like 3 or 4 times, where Bambi was just messing with Melanie. Their names are too similar, but Bambi ended up doing that. She did that a few times. She also threw yarn at Melanie's head sometimes. And it's so childish. It sounds like we're in kindergarten, but that's how ridiculous these females were. But Melanie was like, you better leave me alone, like stop it. She was getting upset. But Melanie, one thing about Melanie is that she was that girl. She wasn't that girl to like go tell on people. She would handle it herself. And so Melanie was just she was talking to people around, and she was trying to get people to not like Bambi. And so Bambi was like, yo, you talking about me? And Melanie would be like, well, you need to stop doing this. And so they would have their little tussles, like verbally here and there, but it was nothing major. It was nothing serious, right? And so me and Melanie have a whole catalogs of stories that I could tell you guys about, and me and Bambi have a whole catalog of stories that I could tell you about. I don't know how I ended up being stuck with them for the next 2 years, but I was. Anyways, so it came to this one day, right, where Melanie, me, Bambi, we all had crafts period together. Like, remember how back in the day, if some of you guys know, we used to have home ec. That's what it's called, home ec, where you would iron, you would cook one semester, you would what else did we do in that class? No, that's not the class that we had. That's not the class that we had. It was workshop class that we had, where you build stuff. That's the class that we had, that we all had together. And so pretty much the whole grade, because the whole grade is small, like the 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, like we're all small. So we basically have the same classes together, right? Like the whole grade of people have the same class together. So pretty much everyone, except a few of course, had that class. So we were in workshop, and it was closer to towards the end of the day. I remember it being the second to last period. I don't remember if it was 6th period out of 7 periods or 7th period out of 8 periods, but regardless, it was the second to last period because I knew I had a class next, and then I would go home. So this particular period, Bambi was, how am I going to describe this? Oh, I forgot to mention, before, this was like the same day in the morning. The reason why, so let's get into this, right? The reason why I'm talking about this, the reason why I did what I did, the reason why I wasn't exactly loyal was because of this reason, right? The morning of where everything basically went down was due to this reason. So when I came into homeroom period, right, I sat down in my usual spot next to Melanie and my other friend that's not really important to the story, right? And so within that, right, Melanie was like, I'm not going to talk to you because you're all buddy-buddy with Bambi. And so I thought that was petty. I thought it was stupid, but you know, I was never into that whole girl drama, like, oh, I'm not going to talk to you because you talk to this person. I was never really with it. So she said that to me, and I was like, okay, that's fine, because I really didn't care. I was like, I don't really care. And then she got upset at me for that, because she was like, oh, so you'd rather be her friend? And I was like, well, you're being ridiculous right now. Like, I'm not in your problem, so don't put me in your problem. And then, you know, she was all like, well, like she did this thing where I really thought it was a Southern thing, but I think that's just a her thing. Like, she did this thing where she wouldn't look at you when she's telling you off. She would look at the ceiling. And so she'd be like this and like talking like this. And I'd just be looking at her like, okay. So like, I literally was like, all right, okay. Jotting that down in my little notes, and I went on my day because I didn't talk to anybody anyways. So moving forward, right, let's speed down to the like second to last period, and we're in workshop class. So I'm here with my friend, I'm here with the other friends that are not pertinent to the story, and then Bambi is sitting diagonal from me. And also, where is Melanie? Melanie is also sitting at the same table. So Melanie and Bambi are like throwing jabs at each other here and there when we're trying to do our project. Tension was building. I can't remember exactly what was being said, but tension was building. And I was just basically minding my business, right? Because I was Switzerland at this point. But it gets to the point to where our teacher says, I gotta go do something. I don't remember what they needed to do, but they had to go do something. This was the stupidest thing this teacher could do, but they did it. I don't remember what they had to do, but they had to go do something. So the teacher left us, and I'm assuming that, you know, maybe they trust our class a little bit more than what they should. I never had a teacher who really like trusted our class fully to where they just dip. So he told us, like, you know, when the bell rings, you guys can go to your next class period, but we gotta, like, I gotta go, pretty much. Like, I don't know if he left the premises, I don't know if he had to go talk with the principal, I genuinely don't remember, I don't know. So we're all sitting in the canopy, right? Like, so here's a building where our class, our workshop class was. There was what do you call this, an archway, I guess you call it, like a kind of walkway with cylinders on the side and an awning, right? So like you would walk through it to protect yourself from the rain or whatever, and then you'd walk into the main building. So here's the main building, you walk back, you know, you're walking outside to the sidewalk, and then right here was the what am I talking about? Right here was the workshop class. So that's where we're sitting. Like, he told us to stay outside. Apparently people knew that we were going to be out there, but we had no adult supervision. Okay, none. So during this time, everyone's just talking, everyone's doing their thing, and Melanie and Bambi are just going at it, right? Like, they're just going back and forth, giving each other whatever it is that they're giving each other. And these group of guys were like egging them on, like, if you're gonna do something about it. Hit her, do something about it. And my ass, let me tell you, I was sitting down on the bench and I was just watching the whole thing, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I love sipping that tea. Like, I loved watching things like that. That's probably why I like had people who came to me with a whole bunch of drama, because I loved watching it. I just never like wanted to be in it. I never said anything to anybody to be in drama. I just always ended up in drama. Like, it don't make sense, and it's because of the people I hung out with, and that was a lesson I learned. But that's neither here nor there. So I'm sitting on the bench watching it go down, and these group of guys are like, are you gonna fight? And so Melanie, she loved attention, and so she ate that up, right? Melanie has her stupid bag in her hand, because everyone carried a purse around, and she had her bag in her hand, and she steps up to Bambi, and she's just like saying whatever it is that she's saying. She's just like something like this, like I saw in the back of her head. And then Bambi was like, what's good? Basically, Bambi took off her stuff. She knew what it is because it wasn't her first rodeo, and she was just like, what's good? Like, what's up? I remember her doing this. And Melanie, with her dumb bag, you could tell she was scared, and you could tell that she probably didn't think anything was gonna go down. And she was like, well, you're not gonna do anything anyways. And she pushed Bambi. Bambi went and the slight hesitation, I knew, I was like, oh, she about to throw some hands. And literally Bambi, I remember her swinging too. It was the most hilarious swinging ever, because she would be like this, and she literally took, she didn't even grab her hair, she took her by the shoulders. Bambi put her hand on Melanie, took her by the shoulder, and just started swinging over and over and over again. And Melanie fell backwards like this. It was hilarious how she fell backwards. I'm not even gonna lie, with her dumb bag, and she's just like doing one of these numbers, and Bambi literally like cradles her. It's just like all head action, because for some reason Melanie didn't think to cover her face, and Bambi's just going in on her. And during this whole time, everyone kind of migrates, right? They just move from the awning, like I told you guys, they move from the awning to the grass area, and they just kind of push back, right? And so remember, here's the building, here's the awning, and here's the main building, right? Everyone moves this way, and I'm still on the bench. I'm just sitting there watching it, like, I told you this was gonna happen. I told you to watch your mouth. Like, you can't say nothing, expect not to get hit for it. Like, and then I realized that it looked very weird that I was sitting there on the bench just watching. And I was like, I grabbed my bag and I was like, let me go over there with everybody. Like, everyone moved and was just watching. They looked so scared. It was so funny, because Bambi was also new to the school, and so I guess they never really experienced anything like that, because everyone pretty much grew up with each other. And so if they had fights, I don't think they really put hands on each other. I really don't know, because I didn't get there, right? Like, I didn't grow up with them. Everyone's over there, and I'm just like, I should probably move because this looks weird. So I got up and I left and I walked away, and the bell rang for people to start getting out. And so The other class, where our workshop building was, another set of class was on the other side, and that was the home ec class. And two people walk out, and they're students, and they just stop and they watch. They're like, and then everyone was like, okay, yeah, this is going down. And during the whole time, Bambi is like not letting up. She's just going with her punches, like flailing everywhere. And finally we decide, you know, I think it's time for us to like dip. And so we go into the next period class, and in our next period class, Melanie is sitting down. She has scratches everywhere. Her hair is all disarray. She got red marks all over the place. And then Bambi has like one scratch right here. Let me tell you, Bambi really just looked pissed, which is why she was red. She probably had scratches on her from Melanie trying to like claw her way, but it was pretty hilarious. And as we're sitting in our last period class, Melanie looks at me and she was like, why didn't you help me? Like, why didn't you help me? Why didn't you just watch? Like, she was crying, and I was just like, I told you to watch your mouth. And I'm telling you, I felt so good. That's probably wrong, but I felt so good when I said that, because really and truly, you can't just talk and spread rumors about people and not expect to get your shit rocked. Like, it don't make sense. But even like, so apparently she felt like I was not being loyal. She was mad at me. We were friends the next day, but she, like, nobody knew, none of the teachers or anything knew about it at all until someone told, and Melanie told, like, because she got her ass beat, which is why she told. But that pretty much wraps up everything. That wraps up the whole story about how apparently I wasn't loyal because I didn't jump in on a fight where people weren't even my friend. So I just thought I'd tell that story with you guys today. I thought it was funny, thought it was a little bit comical. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you think I should have jumped in and helped even though she wasn't really my friend? Do you think I was low-key shady for not doing anything? I don't know. I think it's funny looking back at it. Even today, I probably still wouldn't jump in, but I wouldn't even be friends with that sort of person. So we'll see what you guys think. I don't know. This was funny. Thank you guys for joining me today, and I hope to see you guys next time.